Good morning. So this is our first webinar to be hosted by our Office Human Resource Development Division, and I would like to formally welcome you. But before I start my presentation, could you please tell me if you can hear and see the slide? Can you see the slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Very
Yes, sir.
Okay, so thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So for today, before we proceed to our main topic about the IPCRF data collection, I would like to share this session with you to explain what will happen now to the performance management system of the department given the new normal. As we transition and as we adapt to the post-quarantine scenario, I'd like to give you a little bit of context, and we expect also that being in the HR, we should be at the forefront of providing and ensuring that our delivery of service will still continue despite some limitations and because of our current situations. There are things rather that basically we know in our current situation and aspects that we don't know, something uncertain and ambiguous to us. For the things that we know, the virus is contagious and easily transmitted, therefore can be fatal. We all know that. There is no available vaccine right now. Therefore, whatever situation we are in now, whether we are in ECQ, GCQ, MECQ, strict physical distancing will still be our new norm, and there would be limitation of people depending on the quarantine restriction in our respective area or locality. Hence, mass gathering will be limited like face-to-face, convergence, symposium, workshops, until such time that it's okay for us to go back to the old normal. So families and workers, especially our counterpart and constituents, worry about their occupation and expenses for their daily living. On the other side, these are the things that we are uncertain about. We don't know also when is the vaccine will be developed and made available to the public. We also don't know if we can achieve immunity once the vaccine will be made available. For example, will the vaccine serve as blockers for us to get that virus? The possibility of series of outbreaks once the community quarantine will be lifted. So the government keeps on reminding us that even though we are in GCQ or ECQ or MECQ, there will be chance that there will be possible outbreak. Also, we don't know how safe we will be when we go back or return to work after post-quarantine. That's why our officials in the Department of Education, as mentioned by RD in her message, so with Ma'am Che, your SDS, they are taking into consideration the employees returning to work in ensuring that we are wearing face masks and other protective equipment. So that is our context, things that we know and things we don't know currently. In my next slide are several anticipated new normal scenarios. On your left side, these are the new changes, and as a response to these new changes are those at your right side. And these are the possibilities that could happen and are now actually happening. Say, adoption of alternative work arrangements, wherein there is a possibility that some of us will be working from home. Just like this, we are on a virtual meeting, and the possibility of adoption of staggered working hours or the compressed 4-day work week. So we are into this until such time that the quarantine will be lifted or there will be issuance on this matter. Stringent physical distancing, which is required, therefore less face-to-face interaction. And since our modality had changed from conventional learning environment to remote or distance learning, online platforms and tools should be in place, especially in the workplace. As far as employees adapting and adjusting into the new norm, there are new standards also for working at home. And there will be possible new ways of assessing our employees in terms of their performance. Next is the rise of work disruptions, especially for those working at home. Imagine now that technically we are working at home amidst this crisis. And as far as HR is concerned, we would like to mitigate the possible rise of work disruptions. One very critical intervention here is the upskilling of technology, both in the IT infrastructure and soft skills. When we say soft skills, these are new sets of skills our employees need. Say for example, how to use Google Meet, ito yung ginagamit natin ngayon, MS Teams, Zoom, and other communication or online platforms. So this gathering will basically focus on how we adapt into the new normal in terms of consolidating our performance rating. The next few series of slides are actually giving you an idea for our HR focal persons in the region and schools divisions, including schools. We see this as a sort of tips and also in anticipation of what will be the changes that will brought about by the new normal in terms of one of our HR systems, which is performance management. In operationalizing it, and what will be the work arrangements of our employees or teachers, how do we now assess their performance, and how do we make them still productive despite these limitations. So the three bubbles are actually the three things that we see in order for us to effectively manage the performance of our employees or of our teachers. First is to engage our employees in the process of navigating through the new normal. So we see in here that we need to value individual journey on adapting to the new normal, because while we all experience this new normal, the way we react and the way we respond to the new normal depends on our individual disposition and of course our life context. Therefore, we need to see and value the individual journey as a person and at the same time as an employee. Again, as an HR, we should be at the forefront of making sure that offices within the schools divisions and even at the RO, to include schools also, should at least revisit and create office or service continuity plan. Already crafted each learning continuity plan, but as an office or school, it is critical that we also have to craft our own learning continuity plan. For example, we need to identify what services can be done online and what services can also be done face-to-face with limitations. Second, we need to also design the plan of our office or the workflow in view of the new normal, in consideration of putting some protective barriers within our office. And at the same time, ensuring that the delivery of service and also giving consideration to the human aspect of the organization in ensuring the health and safety of our employees. The next bubble where HR should be in the forefront also, because this is critical as of now as we transition into the new normal, is focused on setting up of mechanisms, protocol on the new standards of working. Critical in here is the leadership adaptiveness of your leaders, your chief in the SGOD, your chief in the CID, aside from the instructions from your SDS and ASDS. But the chief of your functional division's adaptiveness into the new normal is very critical. So we need to redefine the work standards for working at home or working in the office, having some skeleton workforce arrangements. Leaders should now be assessing more on leaning towards output based. If you are the leader or the head of the office or the head of the school, basically your assessment now would be Will you be assessing faster response over a better response or longer days in the office over a productive days? So that's how we redefine work standards. While we don't see each other, the micromanaging technically will not work under the new normal. So you allow your employee independence to do their own, but as a head of the office, you need to set some norms and rules in making sure that they will deliver the expected outputs uh, with quality. It is also essential for our managers to have a clear understanding about what tools or platforms to be used and at the same time guiding them as to what are the deliverables for the week. So work from home planner will help you here. So these are some of the tools and team tracking and monitoring is very critical from our end. Just like in our office in the region, we need to establish what are the deliverables and expected output for the week, whether that output is a continued task or a new deliverable. In terms of managing performance, our new normal will be more of output based, but maintaining, of course, quality output based. So it is critical in here how do we monitor performance of our employees in the new normal. My last slide in managing performance in the new normal is about the provision of support. This is essential in ensuring employee will still be productive in the new normal. While we establish and clarify new work processes and expectations in the new normal, these are also essential for our HR and line managers like our functional division chiefs, including you, our school heads. The protection of employee mental health and well-being, especially this time. Look for an area where people can vent out their worries and issues and not necessarily resolving their worries, but you are there to somehow guiding them. So this is the primary essential. So this is primary essential rather as being emphasized by our secretary in ensuring the safety and health of our personnel despite our move to deliver the expected services that our counterpart or constituents expect from us. So we encourage you to provide and do the necessary intervention or learning session to your teachers about COVID, how to cope with anxiety and stress, and then lifting their spiritual and emotional well-being. This somehow will give them comfort. And you can also conduct mental health check even in chat groups, kamustahan activities, as simple as that intervention. But will somehow bring back solidarity among employees as they return to their work. Next is the upskilling technology because even our learning and development delivery will now also be transitioning into the new normal. So no more face-to-face or if there will be, on a very minor chance only. These are the things that we need to prioritize. Our IT infrastructure should be set up and new skills should be addressed. While we are in a virtual teams, culture of collaboration should not be lost also, but rather be more intensified despite the introduction of virtual. The last one, which is very critical for our employees to be managed, is still the coaching and mentoring remotely. A simple one-on-one video chat on how the person is coping with and how things and deliverables in their plate can be delivered. Given those things, and if you see technically performance management, it is still the same. The basic essentials are still there. It's just that the delivery and the mode of doing these things will now be through virtual and online. So these are the things that we are seeing. So as we move to our main agenda, the objectives of this activity is to prepare you, teachers, raters, and other DepEd personnel who are involved in RPMS in implementing the Phase 3 RPMS cycle for SY 2019-2020 amid the COVID-19 situation and while we are transitioning to the new normal. As mentioned by RD Estela in her opening message, we want this to become easy for our teachers, that they will take our PMS light and easy. This is where my presentation ends, and I hope that you pick something as we in the HR be in the forefront of operationalizing what is now the new normal in the Department of Education. Thank you very much.